Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be diving in.
So you've given us a stack of sources today, and they really get into something, well, quite specific.
Yes, we're looking at treachery or Alevosia. It's a legal concept, an aggravating circumstance under the revised Penal Code.
And it seems like it changes everything about how a crime is viewed, right?
Yeah.
It's not just what happened.
Exactly. It focuses entirely on the method, the how. It reflects society's view on attacks that exploit a victim being defenseless.
Weaponizing unfairness, almost.
That's a good way to put it. It's a difference between, say, a sudden fight and something much more calculated.
Okay, let's unpack the core legal definition then. What does the law actually say?
Well, the key phrase is that treachery exists when the method ensures the crime's execution without risk to himself arising from the defense which the offended party might make.
Without risk. That's crucial. Eliminating risk to the attacker.
Precisely. And the Supreme Court has been very consistent on this. They require two essential elements to be proven.
Okay, what are they?
First, the victim's defenseless position. You have to show the victim was truly unable to defend themselves or, retaliate effectively.
Like someone asleep or tied up.
Exactly. Or attacked from behind, perhaps. Situations where there's just no chance to react.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the attacker's side? If I just suddenly attack someone, they might be defenseless in that moment. Is that enough? How do you prove it wasn't just spontaneous?
Right, and that's the second test. Conscious adoption of method. Mere suddenness usually isn't sufficient on its own.
Conscious adoption.
Yeah.
So they had to think about it, choose that specific way.
Yes. The prosecution has to show the perpetrator deliberately chose that treacherous method precisely to eliminate or reduce risk. It can't be applied automatically to every sudden attack.
So you need testimony, evidence showing they planned or reflected on using that specific approach.
Absolutely. It needs proof of that calculation, that purposeful selection of the means.
It feels like a high bar. Okay, so scope-wise, does this apply to all crimes?
No, that's a key limitation. Treachery applies only to crimes against the person.
So homicide, murder, physical injuries, that sort of thing.
Correct. You can't use it to aggravate, say, theft or arson or public order offenses. It's about attacks on people's physical safety.
Okay. But even within that, things get interesting. You mentioned calculation is needed, but what about cases involving, say, very young children?
Ah, yes. That's a major point. Attacks on children of tender years are often considered automatically treacherous.
Why? Automatically.
Because their defenselessness is inherent due to their age. The law basically presumes the treachery because a young child simply cannot mount a meaningful defense. The vulnerability is absolute.
Right, that makes sense. Now, you also flagged this idea of an interrupted attack. This sounds complex. The People v. Valeo case.
Yes, Valeo is fascinating. It really shows the nuance. So imagine the initial conflict was face-to-face, a fight.
Okay, so not treacherous at that point.
Not initially, no. But then the victim runs and hides. The accused stops, takes a moment, figures out where the victim is hiding.
Pauses, reflects.
Exactly. And then fires the fatal shot deliberately through a closed door, knowing the victim is trapped and defenseless behind it.
So even though it started frontally, the fatal blow was delivered using a new, consciously chosen, treacherous method after that interruption.
Precisely. That break, that pause and reflection, allowed the accused to consciously adopt a method that eliminated risk. Shooting through the door at a hidden target. That's the key, proving that purposeful switch in methodology.
So, wrapping our heads around this, treachery really forces us to look beyond the act itself, deep into the how. It's about the calculation, the deliberate exploitation of vulnerability.
It really is. Less about the what, more about the how it was done. The method chosen against someone defenseless.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over.
Yeah, think about this. The courts have consistently held that treachery, which, as we've said, requires calculation, deliberation.
Right, a cold choice.
It cannot coexist with a mitigating circumstance called passion and obfuscation. That's when someone acts impulsively, losing reason and self-control in the heat of the moment.
Complete loss of reason versus careful planning.
Exactly. So the question to ponder is, why do these two mental states stand in such fundamental opposition in the eyes of the law? Why can't calculated treachery and overwhelming passion exist at the same time?
Something to think about. We'll leave you with that until our next deep dive.